Warning: the following program contains coarse language, mature content, and is intended for an adult audience.
I hope Hawkeye's on Captain America's team.
Oh, fuck that guy. I hope he shoots himself in the dick with a fucking boxing glove arrow. The fucking fuck. It's Tuesday, December 8th. It's been over a month since we've talked with you. We're back now. We missed you. It's the Mike and Rob Show. I'm Mike.
I'm Rob.
And we're going to talk to you about a bunch of different things today. It's December, so Christmas is right around the corner. I'm going to give you a lot of ideas for local places here in the city where you can get some stuff for your loved ones that are nerds. And we're going to talk about some of the events that are coming up.
A new trailer's hit for Civil War, and it raised more questions than it answers, plus some Star Trek news.
And, of course, as always, we're going to do Peak TV. We got some information about the new Star Trek show that's coming out, and our usual hodgepodge of all the different shows that we've watched this week. So, I don't know if you know this or not, but Pendragon Games, the Winnipeg institution that's been around for, since the dawn of time, finally closed its doors forever,
I heard all about this.
Last weekend. And so they had one 2-day blowout sale where they were getting rid of all of their books and all of their board games and everything else for ridiculously low prices. So he was selling all of his softcover books for $1, all of his hardcovers for $2, and then board games were anywhere between $5 and $20. So
ridiculously low prices, going against his model for 30
exactly.
years.
For people who don't know about Pendragon here in Winnipeg, it was the only game in town for the longest time, and then until Campaign Outfitters came along and some of the other stores that are still around today. But he wasn't necessarily the easiest person to deal with, the guy who owned it, and he was a trailblazer. He was the only person that was doing this kind of thing in Winnipeg for ever. But yeah, it was ridiculous. We went down there and he had the entire store basically condensed to a basement and just boxes that you could rifle through. So
oh, wow.
A friend of mine went and he picked up every single Star Wars 2nd edition role-playing book for I think it was $20
those are a little
total.
hard to come by, aren't they?
Everything in there was old. I
Yeah.
picked up board games some old Games Workshop stuff. I picked up Hero Quest. I don't remember that game from when you were a kid or whatever, but he had copies of that laying around. It was just it was just if you looked hard enough, you could pretty much find anything that you'd ever want to find.
Because he was charging full price for it until 3 days before.
Yeah, exactly.
I promise.
Yeah. Well, for the used stuff, the way that it was working was that he was charging eBay prices for it. So a game that was worth $200 on eBay, that was the price that he was charging for these used ones, and then he eventually just dropped all the prices down to $20 a game to get them out the door.
It's amazing it took him this long to go out of business.
Well, yeah, I mean now, and the way he put it is A, he didn't want to do it anymore, but B, everybody and their dog is selling games now. You have chapters and everything else, and you can buy board games now. So it's kind of hard to be in that market or whatever. But so that was the thing that happened. Really, the only guy that is still around that would be kind of as venerable as John Mansfield was with Pendragon was Doug Salupa from Comic World. Now, I don't know if you ever remember going to Comic World when they were on Ellis, but he kept the business alive. It's just in Selkirk now, and it's this giant warehouse of madness.
Wow, that I didn't
know.
know.
It's a mail order business. Basically, the way that it works is that you can go to his site and you can browse through all the stuff that he's got, and it's a terrible website. It's just nothing but pages and pages of text, but you can actually find pretty much anything. He'll put it together for you, quote you price, and then he'll bring it down to the Thrifty's Flea Market on Ellis, and you can just pick it up there or whatever and pay them when you come down or whatever.
That's cool.
So it's pretty nice. I mean, but it's he's literally the only other kind of older person in town, because the Campaign Outfitters people sold out, and they're Imagine Games now, which is still
I remember Camp Out, that's what we used to call it. Where was it located?
That was on Pembina. It was in
Pembina.
that little weird shit mall on Pembina, or strip mall.
It was in the strip mall. I remember that now.
Pembina,
We used to play Star Wars CCG tournaments there.
Oh, there you go. Okay,
I remember it pretty well. I remember when Comic World moved to that cool building on Portage after it shifted from its original location.
Yeah, that was
3 doors down from where on Portage and Donald, where Book Fair used to be.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that now.
And I loved that building that Comic World moved into. It was so cool and old, and it's still there now. I don't know what it is anymore.
No, it's not that though. Yeah,
but I remember playing video games there and comic books to the ceiling. It was such a fun time.
Yeah, but he's got so much stuff. It's just crazy. But anyways, yeah. So that's a thing that happened this week. I guess there's been kind of a lot of local stuff that's actually happened to the good lately. There's a Winnipegger, she's a former Winnipegger now. She's living out in BC, named Kris Trudeau, who actually just released a book, a sci-fi novel she just published called Timeshift. So this is something that this is kind of new. Clayton kind of let us know about this one or whatever. But it's always cool when someone from here actually gets a chance to, do something that's actually big enough to be considered news. So the book itself is about 3 teams are sent back to 3 different points in time in order to alter history and save humanity. So the website for the book is timeshift-novel.com, and we'll put the link down in the notes or up in the notes or side notes or wherever you guys want to go. But it sounds pretty cool, and the fact that she was able to release it, and
that's really great.
Yeah, like, I'm so happy for her. That's other than that, some upcoming events, and we realized that there's been kind of a gap between the last time we filmed and this time. So we're telling you about events that no matter when this gets published, you'll still probably be able to go to them.
Probably.
Probably, maybe. So James and the Giant Peach, the play version of it is premiering at Manitoba Theatre for Young People between December 11th and the 27th. So hopefully we'll be out before the 27th and you can buy tickets.
Curious what a stage production of this would look like.
Oh, it'd be amazing, I'm sure. Like, yeah, it's not the first time that it's actually been performed here, but from what I understand, that the play version is actually quite cool.
That's super cool.
Yeah. So and then the next thing is for all you stargazing geeks out there, Hammock Marsh is having an astronomy night on the 17th. Of December. So if you want to sign up for that, you can go to their website, and we'll put the link down in the notes. But that sounds really awesome as well. Like, depending on the weather, if it's anything like we've been having lately, which is like super clear nights or whatever, it's going to be an awesome
It'll be a really
event.
Great experience.
And then for the wrestling nerds in the audience, WWE's here on December 20th, and there's still tickets available. So
it's been a while since they've been here.
It's been a little while, yeah. We haven't had live wrestling here for a little bit, but they're here December 20th at the MTS Center. Still tickets available. I really want to go because I love wrestling. It's so much fun to watch live. Yeah.
I seriously thought about going when they announced it because I've started to watch wrestling again over the past few months. Like, I haven't missed an episode of SmackDown or Raw since August.
Well, since the whole John Cena meme thing has come out, even my kids are like, "Well, we should go watch wrestling." And I'm like, "What the hell?" I did.
Cena's not even part of the show right now.
No, but it's just, you know, they're actually interested in it now, or they actually look at it now because of this whole madness that's been going on for the last couple months.
I've found it to be mostly quite watchable. A lot of the new talent I wasn't familiar with, I am now. Mm-hmm. It's so much fun. The women's wrestling has evolved leaps and bounds over
since
I remember
we were a kid,
it being, well, not even since when I was a kid. I mean, I was watching in the early 2000s when Trish Stratus was absolutely the top of the heap in terms of women wrestlers. Mm-hmm. And now there's like 6 or 7 girls that are every bit, if not more talented than she is. Oh, yeah, it's come a long way, and it's really great to see.
And that's the thing, you know, people are like, "Oh, wrestling's all fake" or whatever. I mean, it's the outcome for the match is sometimes scripted like that, but I mean, the athleticism that goes into like the actual performance of it,
that part's not scripted.
The bodies just get broken doing this kind of thing. So I mean, I don't know. I have a lot of respect for the people who are kind of involved in the day-to-day and the production for it. Cool trivia fact: I'm actually friends with someone who's cousins with Chris Jericho. And he had a lot to tell her about just kind of like what life on the road was like or whatever. So Y2J, he's probably
I love those stories. I read Mick Foley's biography. I read Kurt Angle's. It's fascinating stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, it's it's not an easy life to do, but you certainly you have to be in like really peak shape to actually be a person in this organization now. So yeah, so that's happening, and that's pretty much it for events. I mean, other than just Christmas, which I mean we probably won't be filming before Christmas. I don't know. Maybe we will. But
they did a Christmas holiday train thing at the old SAFEWAY on Ness near my place, Ness and Sturgeon. They appropriated it and they put some kind of a holiday indoor train thing inside a huge old SAFEWay.
Oh,
so
weird.
I'm curious about this. It's not just train themed, but it's also holiday themed.
Secret SAFEWay train.
Secret SAFEWay train.
Secret SAFEWay train near where Rob lives. He'll give you his personal address.
I'll put the address up for it because I've seen it.
All right, so then that'll be up on the notes as well. So secret train. Woo! All right, so Christmas is almost here. We thought we'd maybe just talk very briefly about different places in Winnipeg that you can go to get presents for nerds. Now, if you are a conscientious shopper, I always recommend trying to shop locally into the places that you are. So this is going to be very local to Winnipeg. We're not going to get into places like lootcrate.com or any of these other weird subscription services that you can get into. So all be just local places that you can go to buy stuff. Now, we realize it can be kind of daunting that if you're like involved with a nerd or you have like nerdy kids and you're not a nerd yourself or whatever, that sometimes finding just the right gift for them at Christmas can be a little bit difficult because you don't understand half the shit that they're into. But the places that we're going to mention, and there'll be a larger list than the ones that I'm mentioning now in the show notes, but they're all very non-nerd friendly. So if you go in there and you're like, I got a kid and he likes this, then they should be able to point you in the right direction. Or if you're married to a nerd, God heaven forbid that happens.
It has happened to good people.
It does happen sometimes. I'd like to think, anyways. But if you go to these places, they'll be able to help you out. If you know, like, even just a little bit about what the person you're involved with is interested in, then you should be able to get some help here. But the local stores, we're very blessed in Winnipeg, actually. We have a huge, like, thriving scene of kind of niche stores and places you can go to. Like, I found out just recently, actually, we've got an actual, like, a kawaii cafe here now, like, just based on the Japanese, like, maid cafe model or whatever.
Are you serious?
Yeah, in St. Boniface or whatever. It's a dwarf on Couture or something. I don't know. I have the link. I'll put it up. But it's I was looking at it and I'm like, I didn't even know that this was a thing. Like, so that we have, but they sell like all kinds of merchandise and things as well. So if you're looking for like kind of something different and out there for any of the nerds in your life that might be
into the manga
or anime, yeah, it's an actual cafe you can go to, but also
That's
a gift
super
store.
cool.
Yeah, but it's it looked really neat. Like, but anyways, yeah. So we're really blessed in the city to have so many options for being such a, like, we're not the hugest city in the world, but we do have a lot of places. So. Like, for board games, if you have a lot of people that are into board gaming, heck, you might be into it as well and not be a nerd. It happens. It's very popular right now. The choice here in Winnipeg, there's so many. Like, you can basically buy games anywhere now. Like, like even places like Chapters and Best Buy have board games now. But one of the places we like to go, or I like to go, is Amusing Games. So this is a newer place that's out on Portage Avenue, and it's owned by Brian, the guy we had in from C4 a couple shows back. But I really like that store. Number one, it's super friendly to newbies. Like, so if you're really new to a hobby and you want to learn how to do something, like
filthy casuals.
Yeah, if you're a filthy casual, you can go to Brian's store and they won't treat you like your dirt. They'll actually teach you how to play some of these games. You'll find players that are super friendly, like the people who play Magic the Gathering on Saturdays. Probably the friendliest people imaginable. Like, it was incredible the day that I went just to go kind of hang out and talk with them or whatever. But and then also they spent a lot of time and effort and making the environment there really comfortable and friendly. Like, you find with a lot of these game stores, they're based in buildings that have like basements and or like just, you know, like they have a gaming loft or whatever. It's super dank and it's super like mildewy and it stinks and it's just awful.
Places.
The basement that they've got set up at Amusing Games is actually like completely climate controlled. It's like really nice. They've got a bar down there. Like, it's really awesome. Like,
I haven't been. I need to
go. One of the days I was there, they were actually running like a 8-hour Dungeons and Dragons like super dungeon or whatever. So they had like about 16 people in the basement like playing this game, but it was like more than enough room down there to kind of set it up. So I thought that was really cool. So if you're looking for a cool place to kind of get board games and that type of pen and paper game for your nerdy other, then that's a great place to start. We'll put some more suggestions, of course, in the notes. For comics, and of course, comics are all the rage now with all the movies that are coming out. We got like what 8 movies we figured out for 2016.
For 2016 alone, yeah,
comic
between
movies.
Marvel and DC.
I like to go to Galaxy Games and Comics. So this is a store that's just on Henderson. They've been around for a while, but they're actually one of the only stores in Winnipeg that is a comic store that isn't owned by assholes. And I don't know how to put it any other way, but
they were a good spot. I used to play Star Wars CCG there and Raw Deal.
Oh, very good.
These two run
Raw Deal, yeah.
So that was a good spot to go. Back to the wrestling thing.
Yeah. Yeah, so the owner, I've kind of been friendly with him on and off for like a while now, but they've always got just a massive selection. They've got lots of space to game in if you're into playing certain kinds of games. They do sell a little bit of board games there, but mostly it's comics and comic related stuff. So if you're looking for like, you know, a nice action figure or like a comic series or a graphic novel or whatever, they've got everything, and they've got lots of back issues for older stuff too. So that was a place that I really liked. And then for toys, maybe the people in your life, I mean, if you're anything like us, I mean, we're in our 40s and still play with toys, but we have them at least in our desks.
Yeah, we admire them and tell you not to touch them.
Yeah, exactly. We have them on shelves, but there's a company just here in the city called Grumbletoy, and it's another friend of ours, Kris Bryan, and his wife, who basically make custom Japanese vinyl and plastic toys, and they also do just really fantastic, unique artwork. So if you're looking for something like a little bit different to give to your significant other that isn't that they won't expect, but they'll probably really love, because it basically fits in that whole wheelhouse of nerdy shit that people like to collect and bring to work or whatever and show off. If you go to grumbletoy.com, you can place an order with them, or at least check out what they've got. They've got a ton of products, and a lot of it is custom designed and custom built right by the maker. So you're not actually just importing in, you know, stuff from some other, you know, third world country or whatever. Like, all of these companies are local, and they deal with a lot of local things as well as the games you know and love. So it's very good.
I was looking at some board games the other day. I went by the Calendar Club that always pops up every year.
Yeah, and another place to get board games. And
I was looking at a couple, and they had some that were based on licensed properties that I saw. Both of them were Risk, and one of them was The Walking Dead. The other one was the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I took a look at the game, and I looked at the back, and some loose instructions for how they're played. They are not like Risk even slightly. Like, it says Risk on the box, and then everything in that box, the board, none of it is like Risk in any way at all. And I'm trying to figure out, is it just so that they can sell it with the Risk label?
Pretty much.
Because these games are not Risk. They're not even close. Relive all the Marvel Cinematic Universe experiences. You've got figures for each of the main Avengers and interplay with all of them and the different things that they did throughout the course of the movies. If you want to protect the Earth or fight Ultron or do any of the things the characters did, this is what the game is all about. And there's no armies, there's no dice rolling to crush and take over territories or drawing cards. I thought it was actually kind of ridiculous.
Well, they
the
have
lengths that they'll go to.
Yeah, there's if you kind of go and take a look at some of these things, like Risk especially, there's just so many variants now, like because there's a Mass Effect version of Risk, so the Mass Effect video game. I've seen there's a Star Wars one, because of course there's fucking Star Wars everything right now. The Force Awakens, where it's like an actual a space battle version of Risk or whatever, but the miniatures look really cool, so I was like, maybe I get that just to have stuff for the shelf. But but yeah, I mean, between that and Monopoly, it's like the two most overused things ever. But
Monopoly's still Monopoly though. In any of those incarnations, it's the same game, the same principles. But this Risk one wasn't even close, which very much surprised me.
Well, some of the games, like there's a kind of a version of Risk that you can get called Risk Legacy. Now, I don't know if you've heard about this thing, but
it's been around for a long time. I think
it's a version of Risk that basically, if you play one game, things permanently get changed, and then the next time you play, like there'll be certain things that won't be available, or there's certain changes to the rules that'll happen based on the first game. Or
That's
whatever.
cool. I didn't know how it worked.
Yeah, so they have there's a version of the game Pandemic, if you're into that kind of board game or whatever. And that was one that I saw at Amusing Games, which is Pandemic Legacy, which is the same thing. So you're fighting a global disease as a team. All the players are cooperative, and depending on what you do, like if you decide to burn Boston because it's like completely infected, then Boston's unavailable as a place to go to in the next version of the game.
Cooperative board games, I find those notions interesting, where everyone's working together towards a common goal, and then the elements of the game itself are the obstacle for everyone that's playing. I think that's super cool.
I especially like it when it's that, plus you also get the chance to stab your friends in the back. So there's one called Dead of Winter. If you get a chance to check that one out, you should, because it's hilarious. Because not only are you like role-playing in a zombie apocalypse with your little band of friends and you all have to work together to survive, you all have secret side goals, like, you know, start a cult, or beat a lone survivor, or, you know, like kill 5 people in the colony or whatever.
When my family plays board games, it's just an opportunity to argue anyway.
Yeah, so there you go.
I don't think we really need this game to begin with. We can play perfectly normal games that just involve words,
Checkers
and
Legacy,
dice, or Cards Against Humanity, and the fighting starts in 45 minutes. It's fantastic.
That's awesome.
Don't really need games like this. Not in my home.
No antagonistic games that can be cooperative. That's awesome. So anyways, yeah, so we're going to put a giant list of all these places in Winnipeg that you might want to go check out if you're looking for that special gift for the terminally nerdy in your life. But these are the 3 kind of places that, I don't know, you cover a lot of bases by going to, and you probably have a lot of fun doing the shopping. But again, all the places that we list are super non-nerd friendly. So don't be afraid to go if you want to get that special gift or whatever. Definitely go check them
out. Next up, we're going to be taking a look at some trailers for our trailer park.
Woohoo!
Since the last time we did this, the trailer broke for Captain America 3, The Civil War. It's one that we've both been looking forward to. Shall we take a look?
Yes, let us look at this trailer.
Here it comes, Con.
So this is the scene from Ant-Man.
Yes.
See Bucky in there all chained up.
Your mom's name is Sarah. You used to wear newspapers in your shoes.
It's not a mom joke somehow.
You're a wanted man.
When Marvel has a character tied up in the dungeon, it's cool, unlike DC.
Well, the people who think you did are coming right now. And they're not planning on taking you alive.
Captain. Well, a great
This
many
is
people
Thunderbolt
see you
Ross,
as a
right?
hero.
The old
Yep.
dude? Okay.
There are some who'd prefer
And it's not
the
S.H.I.E.L.D.,
world
it's Avengers now.
No, he's a good
Operated
pick.
with
They
unlimited
recycled him from the Hulk,
power
did they
and
not?
no
That's right.
supervision. That's something the world can no longer tolerate.
I know how much Bucky means to you. Stay out of this one. Please. You'll only make this worse.
It's weird that she would say something like that, because usually she's the badass.
She's got the same hat as Winter Soldier.
Yeah, same kind of incognito costumes.
Captain, you seem a little defensive. Well, it's been a long day.
I hear you, Cap.
If we can't accept limitations, we're no better than bad guys. That's not the way I see it. Sometimes I want to punch you in your perfect teeth.
Oh, Tony's upset with Captain America.
It could be worse. It could be a boxing glove arrow to her dick.
People that shoot at you usually wind up shooting at me too.
I like the fact that they painted his wings so that it's a lot more like the comic book.
The actual Falcon, yeah.
It still looks cool.
You want to punch your way out of this?
Yes, you want to punch your way out of it. Punching's the only solution.
What do? We fight.
Like, I'm very happy that they're keeping it a Captain America movie, even with all these people in here. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
The fact that they keep the focus on him is good. I don't want Don Cheadle to die, but at the same token, he's probably one of the only characters that can in these movies.
I think Tony's got a bad idea as to what a friend is. They're more like co-workers.
This is great that they're working together.
Yeah, this is a fantastic beatdown. He's had that coming since Iron Man 3.
Poor Tony Stark. No one understands him. He's just going to drink his way out of his problems now.
Yeah, he's done that forever.
All right, so this was kind of out of the blue. No one really figured that this was going to be a thing that was going to be released so early, but it came out. I mean, to be honest, as long as Hawkeye gets killed by the end, worth the price of admission. I will pay to see this movie fucking twice, maybe 3 times. If
I hated Hawkeye in the comics, but I don't have much of a problem with him in the movies.
I hated how they kept on trying to make him a thing in Age of Ultron. It's like, you know what? It's like fetch. It's not going to happen. Hawkeye shouldn't be happening. Okay, so yeah. If you've read the comics, and I think you have, the Civil War comics, this is kind of a different departure on that whole storyline. So in the comic books, and we're going to spoil this a little bit, as much as you can spoil a 3-year-old comic, but in the comic books, the Civil War is an event that goes across multiple books with multiple heroes and everything else. The genesis of it is that there's like a reality show around this team of like C-list heroes who are running around trying to stop criminals. They run into a supervillain whose ability is basically just to blow things up.
Nitro. He blows up. His body explodes.
His body explodes. So he blows up and he kills 700 people. So they decide, government's like, well, you know what? We really need to kind of get this kind of thing in check. We're going to come up with a Superhero Registration Act. So let's, for people who have read X-Men comics, it's basically the same kind of idea that they've been trying to do in every like 2 years in X-Men, which is like the Mutant Registration Act and like, you know, all these different things, right? So, and at one point, it's basically the heroes are like, well, some are like, yeah, that's fine. We'll work with the government and we'll register and we'll be fine. And then the other heroes are like, well, we don't want to do that because we don't want to jeopardize our secret identity. So right away, in the Civil War movie, that's not really a thing because there isn't a single hero in the Marvel Universe so far, except for maybe Ant-Man, who has a secret identity. Everybody knows that Steve Rogers is Captain America. Everybody knows that Tony Stark is Iron Man. Black Widow outed herself as S.H.I.E.L.D. agent.
When she loaded everything on the internet.
Yeah, exactly. In the second Captain America movie, Hawkeye is a nobody, so who gives a fuck? Thor is still Thor. I mean, he doesn't have a secret identity.
He never had a secret identity on the MCU.
In the movies, he's never had that. No. Like in the comics, he was Donald Blake. The mild-mannered, like I guess doctor. I guess
he was a doctor.
Yeah, and then he became Thor when he needed to. But okay, so none of that's a thing. So really, you got to look at, okay, so what's the reason for the Civil War in the movie? So just kind of piecing it together, it looks like maybe Tony Stark is brought responsibility for making Ultron. And
that'll be one thing.
Yeah, because you notice in the trailer they're signing the Genovia Act or whatever. Not Genovia. Sorry, that's another X-Men thing.
That's Genosha.
Genosha. Yeah.
You're talking about the incident that took place in that European city.
Yeah, in generic Eastern European city for Age of Ultron.
A huge superpowered catastrophe that almost cost an entire city.
Yeah, and so
that'll be another thing.
So that's kind of, I guess, the genesis of Tony Stark being in favor of having some kind of registration act for these heroes. It looks like Captain America's really only motivation to not sign it isn't for the anonymity, but to protect his friend, because it looks like maybe that they're using it as an excuse to kind of go after Bucky, or they're using it as an excuse to kind of like limit their activities, and that's going to be part of it. So like, you get the feeling that Bucky really is kind of like being held to account for maybe things that he didn't do, or for things that they'd rather just kind of sweep under the rug after the whole, shield blowing up at the end of
stuff that he did while being brainwashed.
Yeah, because the whole shield thing is like, you know, basically S.H.I.E.L.D. gets ruined by all of these characters together in the second Captain America movie. So it's like, well, maybe they want someone to pin the blame on, and that's going to be Bucky or whatever. And yeah, I mean, that's the thing that kind of, when I looked at it, I'm like, I don't know if this even really makes sense if you look at the characters, because wouldn't Captain America want to let Bucky have his day in court, because he genuinely was brainwashed when he did all these bad things?
Well, he would, except he said right in the trailer, they're not looking to take you alive.
Yeah, and that's kind of like, so that really becomes, I think, what I think the central motivation is between the hero split, is that the government wants to do some shitty things in the name of preserving order, and a lot of people who know Bucky or know like kind of the whole story don't really like him, like because I mean in the second Captain America movie, Natasha is the Black Widow, goes on about how this guy is like you know, been killing people forever, and
for decades,
you know,
yeah.
and you know, she got wounded by him and stuff, so obviously she's not really a fan. But it's interesting to me because with all of these movies, I mean, they're all owned by Disney now, obviously, and these are movies that are going to go on forever. They want to have, like, you know, 5 million Marvel movies by the time the 2100 hits. But they can't really do certain things in these movies. Like, they can't kill off any main characters. They can't really do anything too earth-shattering with regards to story changes for the characters, because they want the characters to be recognizable as, you know, the Marvel characters.
Right.
And primarily because it is a Disney property now, these are things that are going to be aimed for kids. So they can't really do anything too edgy or weird, because they don't want to, you know, not have parents take their 10-year-olds to go see it and do things. So in the context of all of those things, it kind of makes it interesting to kind of see, well, what's going to happen with this film, because the comic series, Captain America actually dies at the end. Like, he gets assassinated because someone's really upset that he didn't want to, like, give up his identity or whatever. So, and it's weird because in the comics, Steve Rogers has an actual, like, he's an alternate identity to Captain America. Like, it's a hidden thing. It's not necessarily public knowledge that he's Captain America so much, which is a little weird. But I mean, in the movies, it's like right out there. They have the tour scene in the second Captain America movie where they're talking about Steve Rogers, and then right away he's outed, right? So but looking at the release schedule for the movies that are coming up, I mean, you know that certain characters, no matter what happens, are still going to be alive by the end, just because they're going to have their own movie. So this movie introduces a couple of new characters. So the Black Panther is actually going to be in it, which is kind of cool. But he has his own movie coming out, so he's not just being introduced in this movie to die. No, he's going to be playing a role. And yeah, you see some of that in the trailer as well, is that he's the whole reason he might be in it. We don't really know. Like, they kind of mention Wakanda, the country that he's from, in the Age of Ultron movie, as a source of vibranium, which is the metal that Ultron wants to use to kind of build his robot army. Yeah.
The same thing Cap Shield's made out of.
Is it possible that, you know, the leader of that country wants to get some of the vibranium back, or he's coming, you know, maybe the way that the shield material was, because Captain America's shield's made out of the same thing, so maybe they want to reclaim that material because maybe it was gotten under illegal circumstances.
I think it's going to be a small thread for what's going on, and it'll help set up Black Panther, but I don't think it's going to be a significant part of the story.
I don't know. Yeah, like, I mean,
they got a lot to do.
He got a lot of trailer space, if that's the case. I mean, like, if he's not really that significant as a character.
Yeah.
Some of the notable absences, though, is the Hulk is not in this movie, and that's been confirmed. And also, apparently this movie introduces Spider-Man into the Marvel Universe of films. Yeah, so there will be yet another origin story, or a little origin blip for Spider-Man going into this, and he's a teenager, like a real teenage actor as well, in this
which
film.
I like. I like that depiction.
Yeah,
of Spider-Man
so they're going back to the nerdy Peter Parker, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, they probably won't kill Cap. I mean, they could, because in the comics they killed him and they brought him back.
There's lots of options here.
But what, you know, we already know that they're gearing towards the Infinity War movies. And there's, like, you know, a bunch of other things where Cap could be in. They're not going to kill off. Well, they could kill off Iron Man. I mean, to be fair, there's not another Iron Man movie, so if they're going to have an Avengers without an Iron Man and they want to take that risk, I guess they could. They could totally kill Hawkeye. And at Marvel, if you're listening to this, you can kill Hawkeye. It's okay. You know what? Some people might be sad. You can kill him.
Jeremy Renner needs a paycheck. Come on, buddy.
He'll get a paycheck for this last film, and that'll be fine. If he's smart with his money, you don't have to worry about him. But who else can they really do? They can't really kill anybody off because they're all in their own. Yeah, because Ant-Man is going to be in his next movie.
With Wasp.
With Wasp, and she might even be in this one. I don't know. They haven't really talked about his role in this yet. They're not going to kill Black Widow because they're still on the fence probably about the Black Widow movie. Like, it hasn't been scheduled release, but they probably will want to make a movie out of her because she's tremendously popular. Hulk's not even in it, so it's not even a question whether or not they're going to go after him. So that means that there's Thor, which I don't think he'll be in this movie either.
Be, no.
Yeah,
he's getting ready for Ragnarok.
Yeah, and that could be
where Hulk also appears next as well.
Yeah, so that'll be a thing that could end up hurting him. I don't know, but that's about it. I mean, we don't necessarily know very much more about the story.
One other thing that I'll point out, I'll put my money now that we will learn Bucky as Winter Soldier killed Howard Stark.
Yeah,
and Tony is going to want revenge.
He'll figure it out or whatever, and then they'll go from there. Yeah,
there was Howard Stark died in a car accident, I think is how they related it in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And there was a story that Natasha told that had to do with something along those lines. I'm willing to bet that they're going to match up.
Yeah, I mean, they end up killing off, like, all of the founders of S.H.I.E.L.D., like, and that's done by Hydra, according to the crazy computer face there.
Yes, Arnim Zola.
Arnim Zola in the second Captain America movie. So, I mean, you totally could be right. I don't know. It sounds like it's something that could happen, but it's just really weird and interesting to see what they're going to do with it, because the story is departing very much so from the actual
and that's
Civil
okay.
War
It has
comic.
to.
It has to, I mean, because the movies are different. But, yeah, so that was Civil War. If you haven't had the chance to watch the trailer yet, definitely get a chance to watch. We'll put a link in the show notes.
Star Wars is almost upon us.
As of the day of this filming, it's, what, 10 days away now?
Pretty close.
Yeah.
I know. I stopped keeping track of TV spots at around number 16, and they are numbering them. I watched maybe the first 2 or 3, and each one features another few seconds of new footage.
Yeah.
And then I stopped. I gave up when I saw posting, here's all of the TV spots we have so far, which was the first dozen, and this is the order everyone thinks that this shit is going to go down in the movie. I needed to stay ignorant. I completely avoided it.
I did the same thing too. Like I saw the trailer that we covered in our last show, and then they had a Korean, I think, trailer where they showed even more footage, and then I just realized that the pattern that was going to go into, and I'm like, nope, and I just noped right the hell out of there, because I at some point, you just kind of want to have a nice theater experience and see something that you're surprised by, and
that's what I'm doing now. At this point,
okay, you know. But
finished.
It's so weird how they're marketing it, because they're basically, it's like they have no faith in their product, that they have to kind of like pump out trailer after trailer after trailer. And
aren't the advanced movie sales enough?
I don't know. Like it's made more money on advanced sales than any other movie in history now. That's been confirmed. So like they've sold more tickets to advanced showings than anything.
Will it be Jurassic World?
I don't know.
For total box?
Yeah, because honestly, that movie, once it hit outside of North America, it went crazy, and now it's like the third most highest grossing movie of all time, next to Titanic and Avatar. Yeah. So and it closed very close to Titanic. Like it was it was a race.
Yeah. It was like $3 or something.
$3. That's it. If only one more of you had gone, we would have been able to kick Titanic out of the top movie spot.
And replaced by Jurassic World. Yeah, that's a gain.
That's exactly. That's a victory for no one. But yeah, I don't understand the strategy, because it's every single time I'm on the internet, someone's found a new trailer, or there's new footage, or there's something new to talk about. And like you said, there was that one article where it was everything that's going to happen in this damn movie. This is how we think the whole movie's going to go. And then they're talking about episode 8 now. They're like, well, this is how we predict like who the next 2 people are going to be in episode 8 or whatever.
Can we get past this one first?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that okay?
Can we maybe finish? Let's finish. Please, let's finish. So yeah, I don't know. That was the thing that happened, and the other big trailer, I guess, that came about, or event that's happened since the last time we met, there was a Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Oh, there was the teaser.
Trailer. There was the teaser,
was
which was the
and the trailer.
The dungeon pornography bondage.
Oh, the gay torture porn.
Yeah.
Thing. Oh, we have to show a little bit of that. That's
yeah,
for sure.
I mean, we're gonna put a link to the trailer below, but I mean, they did a teaser of the trailer, because that's a thing that happens now, because we're all idiots. Where they actually showed like Batman chained up and Superman's treating him rough a little bit.
In his bondage dungeon underneath the Fortress of Solitude is obviously where that's going down.
Yeah. So that was the thing that happened, and then they released the trailer, and it was just ridiculous. It was like the people who made the movie don't really give a shit about any of the background of the Batman or Superman characters. They're just like, well,
Wonder Woman just shows up with a shield like Captain America did in the fight in the Avengers.
Yeah.
And then blocks a shot from Doomsday,
yeah.
Which I was impressed with. I didn't realize Doomsday was in the movie. I actually kind of wish they'd kept that secret.
Yeah, that was a big reveal. The fact that he looks like a cave troll is hilarious.
He looks a lot like Abomination from the Hulk movie is what he looks like.
That's another one. Yeah, like another good comparison. But the I don't know, like to bust out a villain that is that iconic that early in these movies seems weird to me, because they
have to do something, because Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor is not working for me at all.
Honestly, to me, he was the best part of the trailer, because he's so funny. Like, it's just, out of all the things that as a kid I would like to laugh at, that he would be that guy. The smart ass.
Is Gene Hackman dead? Can we not just get him?
Yeah. No, Gene Hackman's still around. We could get him as Lex.
That's what they should have done. Him or Michael Rosenbaum from Smallville. He'd have been better.
Okay,
Jesse Eisenberg has no range.
I don't know.
He's a shitty actor.
I want to see what they do with it. I mean, this is their intro into kind of like the next 200 years of DC movies that are coming
Justice
out.
League,
so because there's cameos in this one by the Flash. There's cameos in this one by Aquaman.
Khal Drogo shows up as Aquaman.
So I mean, there's there's a lot of things that are happening that are leading up into more of these films. But I mean, the closing shot of the Batman versus Superman thing is that Batman's got a fucking gun.
Well, of course,
Superman's just Superman. Whatever. He just I'm standing here and I'm invincible. And Wonder Woman is like the most interesting thing in this whole trailer, basically. Like, she shows up and she's ready to fight, and you don't get to see her very much, but she looks awesome. And for people that were kind of complaining that maybe Gal Gadot, I think is her name.
That's her name.
Wouldn't be great in the role. I don't
know.
She
looks great.
She looks awesome in this. Like, so, but I mean, they don't really show her that much. She's there for like 2 seconds, and then they make the, hey, is she with you?
Adrian Palicki still would have been better, but they signed her as Mockingbird for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
So. But so yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. I mean, we'll probably go see it. I mean, I can't.
I'm going to see this.
It's not going to be one of these things. Like, even if it's a total train wreck, I'm still going to.
Oh yeah,
be
absolutely.
There.
It'll be a fabulous train wreck.
Yeah. That trailer was just bizarre. I mean, it's we'll see how the movies go. There's a small contingent of people out there that really liked Man of Steel and thought it was a great Superman film somehow. Yeah, I know. I don't know who these people are. I've
met a couple of them.
Yeah, like I've seen a couple online, and I've argued with them a little bit about why this movie's terrible and it's not really Superman at all.
They're the same people that love the prequel trilogy.
Yeah, exactly, the exact same people. Yeah, I mean that's another thing that's going to be coming out. I guess the 2016 as well, and it's in February. So it's no, not February.
No,
that's
March.
Deadpool.
February's Deadpool.
Yeah, March of next year is when it
really
comes.
soon.
So it's not too far away now. It's like 3 months and a bit, so that's awesome. But so that's another one that came out. And I guess the only other movie that we had to talk about, I guess that was kind of interesting to us, anyways, because we have limited attention spans for these things, is the new Star Trek movie. They released some details about that.
Yes, they did. Star Trek Beyond is the title of it, and it's still post Vulcan being blown up, J.J. Abrams lens flare-verse.
Yeah, like it's the next movie in that so it takes place after Into Darkness or whatever. So presumably they've all got the mutated blood from Khan, and they're immortal and they can't get damaged, and now the real fun begins or something. I don't know how these Star Trek movies are going to go,
oh man,
because that's how they cure him in the second movie, right? They inject him with
midichlorians.
Yeah, no.
Oh.
No. They take Khan's blood and they put it into a dead Tribble, and the Tribble comes back to life, and then the doctor's like, I'm going to make Jim back to life.
For new actors, did they not say that Luthor is going to be on board?
Yes, Idris Elba.
They're going to be casting him as the bartender of the ship, I'm going to guess.
He's the new Guinan? Maybe? I don't know. Like,
wouldn't that be great?
I don't think they're going to
But he can play it like Isaac from The Love Boat.
Oh, no. The cheesy mustache and everything. No, I think the rumor that I read was that he was going to be some kind of Klingon, leader.
That works.
Like an emperor or something.
That'll work.
That. Like, maybe not the emperor, but like one of their head or... I don't even know what their hierarchy is, but like one of the lesser rulers or whatever. But
I don't remember what
their
Supreme Chancellor.
The only thing that's kind of a saving grace, I think, with this upcoming film is that they're free to kind of go in any direction that they want to now. Like because they've gotten rid of the Khan story, they've gotten all the characters kind of settled into their roles. Well, yeah, I mean it's these movies are not great. The cast is great, but the stories are just dumb. But the fact is now they can just go in any direction that they feel like.
That's true too.
There's no real impetus for them to tell any particular story at this point, and I think the going for the Into Darkness side of things was more of like a safety thing than anything else, because it's like audiences are familiar with this and they can kind of latch onto that concept because they remember Wrath of Khan from when they were 12 or whatever.
Wrath of Khan was awesome.
It's the best thing, but yeah, I mean, I've been kind of staying away from this one just to maybe give myself a treat on that too. I don't even know who the writers are this time around. Is it Robert Orci?
That could be, yep.
And the other dude?
And I know that the trailer for it is supposed to be right before Star Wars.
Yes.
In fact, it's supposed to be Star Trek, and they're talking X-Men will be shown beforehand. They're talking Civil War. They're talking. Oh, what are some of the other ones that are coming out next year that they're?
Oh God, Deadpool. There's the trailer. Gambit movie coming out.
Gambit's another trailer possibility for the front of Star Wars.
The 2016 lineup for superhero movies is ridiculous. So there's 8 full movies coming out. Marvel's releasing 2, so there'll be Civil War and there'll be Doctor Strange in November, which is the only one I'm really excited about out of the bunch of them. Deadpool hits in February, so it's like February 12th, right before Valentine's Day. You can go see Deadpool.
Oh, finally a good Valentine's Day movie to bring a date to.
So that's coming. March is the Superman,
Batman.
May is Civil War. And then sometime in between May and November, it's the
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad
is in August, I think.
Something like that, yeah. And then there's the X-Men: Age of Apocalypse, and then November is Doctor Strange, like I said, and then December I think is the Sinister Six of all things. I didn't know that.
I didn't know they actually got the green light, so that's exciting.
So you know the viewing spate next year is going to be pretty full, but right now I'm kind of looking forward to the new Star Trek movie. Oddly enough.
Be better than Jesse Eisenberg.
No, nothing is better. So in the time that we didn't shoot, because we were off in Tahiti on vacation or whatever the hell we were doing, I don't even really remember actually the last 4 weeks. There
was a lot of television during those 4 weeks.
There was a fair amount of television that got released in that time. So Jessica Jones aired its entire run during that time. Leftovers and Arrow and Flash all had new episodes during that time. And there's a fair amount of news with some new shows that are coming out next year as well. So it's a lot to talk about. All right, so I guess first things first, you haven't gotten to the end of it yet, but you're partway through now. Jessica Jones, correct?
I'm 4 episodes into Jessica Jones.
Okay.
The last thing I saw was the reveal with Malcolm.
Okay. Yeah, so the Jessica Jones so far, I have seen now the entire series, and you know what? I really enjoyed it. Like, it was a much different tone, I guess, than Daredevil was. Like a lot of people that I was kind of hang out with on the internet were really down on them having another television show set in that same kind of gritty kitchen thing. But you can't even tell. Like the setting is very is very kind of a background character in this show in a very minor way compared to how it was in Daredevil.
Daredevil was protecting the area around him and was a hero for Hell's Kitchen.
Right.
So it needed to play a more important role. With Jessica, that's not part of the story that's going on.
No, the story is really character-driven, and the performances that they're able to get out of these actors were amazing. Like, for all the people that thought that Kristen Ritter was going to be terrible in the role, I think she did so good. Like, it was really well done. All the supporting cast was actually amazing, too. Like, her drug-addled neighbor down the hall
Malcolm
or whatever.
Down the hall,
he's amazing. The actual reveal on... was it Matt Smith was the actor? Who's the actor who plays the Purple Man? In
David Tennant.
David Tennant
plays Kilgrave.
Wrong Doctor Who. But yeah, he was amazing. I mean, the way that they actually picked him and the maturity behind the writing and the way that they actually allowed women in the show to be actual really fully developed characters. Like they have flaws. They're not necessarily perfect all the time. They're not
Trish.
Yeah,
Proto Hellcat, she's very, very good as well, and very much her own character.
Yeah,
Carrie-Anne Moss also too.
Carrie-Anne Moss is like the best actor in this whole thing.
Good.
Yeah,
she's so good.
She's fantastic, and the arc that she's given is brutal. I mean, like the story, like for not having a dark setting. The story itself has a lot of darkness in it. Like they tackle a lot of really mature topics, and a lot of the characters don't get out of it really unscathed. Now, having said that, I mean, I think in this particular show, it felt a little long. By the time you got to episode 13, I think they probably could have trimmed it down a little bit or introduced a little bit more. There were a couple of storylines that were just they're kind of nonsensical, but they also introduced a couple of characters that I didn't think would ever see the light of day with regards to being in any of these television shows. And then there was also you haven't gotten there yet. I'm going to mention him, but there's one character in particular that makes an appearance where it's he starts off being kind of normal, but he kind of descends into the character that he becomes in the comics, which is fantastic.
That's very cool.
They introduced quite a bit of just spoilerage with regards to how Jessica got her powers. It's a little bit different than the comics.
They're slowly revealing this as they go for me at this point.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've gotten a chance to go over and digest each of the first 4 that I've watched, and the reveal for Luke Cage being a superpowered being, of course, who's only referred to as Luke, and if you don't know the comics really well, you're not going to know who he is right away.
No.
So I thought that was really well done. And then, revealing, of course, her post-traumatic stress disorder from the incidents that took place prior to with Kilgrave. They're slowly revealing this information as they go.
Yeah.
And I'm really liking the way that it works. building up who she is and why she is what she is. Is fantastic.
You don't get a lot of shows that actually really deal with post-traumatic stress disorder in a sensible way. Like, it's usually one of these, this week's episode of, this special episode of blah blah blah, and then they have like one episode that deals with it, and then it doesn't reoccur. Whereas with her character, it's something that she battles through the entire
it's haunting her
run.
at any time.
Yeah, and the way that they handle it is actually quite good. So
the purple imagery with the flashbacks and recanting the street names, all really good stuff. I mean, I'm of course not a psychologist, but everything they're doing does feel very, very authentic for someone that's suffered from an incredibly traumatic event.
Yeah. And
it's a metahuman caused traumatic event, so there's going to be a little bit of license for creativity and for how they handle it.
Yeah, with the
and
symptoms
I have
and
to
whatnot,
imagine that someone being able to take control of your mind like this is going to leave a horrible, horrible scar.
Well, yeah, and honestly, the way that he's presented, the Purple Man is presented in the show going forward from where you're at right now, it's terrifying what he can do, and they take a lot of creative license with showing the effects of what he's able to do. So I don't know, it's
and it's so different from Loki's mind control.
Yeah.
I don't know if you observed that or not.
It's completely, like the people are not very, like they're not really aware that they're doing what they do, and then when they're made aware of it, they panic because they can't stop it.
And they can't stop it. Yeah,
they
still,
can't
I
control
must
it.
still carry out this activity. Very, very creepy.
No, it was an amazing run. So I mean, if you get a chance to watch it, you haven't watched it yet, binge watch it this weekend. I guess for the other shows that we watch, you haven't caught up with Leftovers yet.
Lens was the last episode I saw of The Leftovers, where Carrie Coon was interviewing, is her name Regina King?
Yes.
Her character, with the stolen questionnaire from the department. What's the departure department called? I can't think of the name of it.
The post-departure department or whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
and going over the interview with her. That is one of the best scenes I've seen on TV this year.
Yep.
So far. What an awesome performance by both actresses. I was absolutely riveted to the screen. So good.
All I'm going to say, because you haven't gotten there yet, is that the show fulfills every promise that I possibly thought it could have with regards to where they're going with this story, because it just gets, like, as nuts as the first episode was and as nuts as everything has been so far leading up to this, it just kicks it into overdrive past this episode that you're in, and shit gets so fucked up, and the state that they're at right now, it was like one of the biggest kind of I guess tense story moments that I've ever seen on television with regards to what they're doing. I've seen
some people saying that it's just pretentious, highly polished garbage, and I could not disagree more with this idea.
You know what?
You don't understand this. That's my only logical conclusion.
Tasty garbage, maybe? I don't know, because I love it.
I think it's phenomenal.
I think it's one of the best shows out there.
And the hour with the Reverend Matt, I'm trying to remember the actor's name now.
Oh gosh, I can never remember his name either.
Another one of the doctors.
Christopher
Eccleston, of course. Matt is the name of the character. Yeah. And his wife, when he brought her to the doctor and then got locked out of the town. What an unbelievable hour that was. What
I don't know if
great teleplay.
It kind of mirrors the episode that he had in the first season, where it was all about him and when he was trying to raise money to actually buy his church from the guilty remnant actually purchasing it or whatever.
And of course they make all the references to Job. I mean, they hit you over the head with Job references, but what the guy went through is what a poor son of a bitch.
Yeah, the amount of biblical reference that happens in the show, I mean, like, you don't really even have to pay attention to get what's happening, because they really do hit you over the head with it at times. But
that's also, not only their own doing, because the people in the town are so convinced that it's some kind of a divine situation to begin with, being Southern United States. Of course, there's a lot of people that's going to think it's God's influence for what's happening to them. And it makes perfect sense. I absolutely love it. It fits for what's going on.
Yeah, no, it's honestly, it's out of all the shows that I've kind of tuned into for this year, it was the biggest surprise, and so far it's been the best thing that I've seen on television in forever.
I would count it as a bigger surprise too, because I didn't think it would improve like this in its sophomore season.
No, like at the end of the first season, you're left with the impression that they could go in one direction, but they were maybe just teasing you with it, and it was more just going to be like real world drama, which is fine, because the cast, like I said, I could watch them.
I could watch them do anything.
They could play croquet for the entire episode, and that would be like the.
I wish they'd do that. That'd be
episode.
amazing.
Yeah.
It would seriously be that good.
Action. Yeah,
leftover lawn bowling.
There you go. Anything like the people that are in this show are amazing, and they keep on getting like guest appearances by actors that you haven't seen in a while, or that you've never really had a chance to see on TV like this, and it's all been just great. But they could have gone one direction and kept it safe and just kept it dramatic, and what they've done is they've just gone the other direction where they were hinting at full bore. They've completely committed to the idea that they've had with this show. It has nothing to do with the book now. It's completely divorced itself from the reality of the book
now, which is great, because now they're untethered by anything.
Yeah, exactly. They can kind of go any direction, but the direction they are going is super compelling.
Yeah, the choices they've made have been fantastic, and I mean, they're making it look easy. They're making it look easy, and I don't know how they're doing it.
I'm just hoping, like, I watched, it was, I guess the 10th episode was this past Sunday. I don't know if there are any more episodes before the new year, or if there are any more episodes at all this season. I'm hoping that there are, because you're left wanting way more.
There's
by the time
10
that
or
they're
12,
done.
I don't remember.
I'm hoping it's 12, because there's a little bit more that they could do, but the climax that happened
I don't think the Leftovers is going anywhere anytime soon.
No, if nothing else, they'll get a third season, if there's any justice in the world, but we'll have to see. But that was that. So yeah, in the time that we were away, Arrow and Flash also had their I guess this is going to be a yearly event now, crossover episode where they started the story in the Flash and it ends in the actual Arrow episode. So it was another time travel episode with regards to the Flash and, being able, little teen time bit.
Actually, it wasn't a time travel episode for the Flash because it happened in Arrow.
Well, that's right, but I mean, there's the time. It was the Flash time traveling again.
It happened on Arrow this time. It's different.
It's the same show. It's all the same. But basically, the episodes that have been the last couple of weeks have been leading into the new show that they're doing. So they're actually preparing you for the departure of like several of the main characters from both shows or whatever. Yeah, several actually. I mean, in this case, Flash is losing Captain Cold and the Heat Ray dude. They're losing who else in the Flash? I can't remember.
Well, Hawkgirl's going to leave.
Yeah, Hawkgirl's going to leave. She'll be gone with the Hawkman who just got introduced like one episode ago or whatever.
What's his name? Khufu?
Prince Khufu. So he's they're going to be gone. And then on Arrow, it's supposed to be the original Black Canary and. Who else? Like
Sarah.
Sarah is going to be leaving, but she wasn't in this episode at all. They didn't actually show her the last couple of weeks. She hasn't been there, but so she's leaving, and Ray Palmer will be gone as well. So he'll be
excellent.
I mean, you know, he's kind of entertaining to watch, but I mean, that basically was the entire episode was, or entire 2 episodes were basically setting you up for this scenario that was going to happen or whatever.
It was a great story, though. I thought
it was interesting.
Really
they finally introduced another villain that probably will stick around for longer than 3 episodes in the form of
Vandal Savage.
And so the Immortal Man. They changed his background slightly, I think, from the comics because
based on what I know, they changed it a little bit. It still works. It's fine.
I don't think he was as tightly tied into the Hawkgirl and Hawkman stories.
I don't believe that's the case at all. He was originally a Green Lantern villain, I think.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, he's interesting. Like they've made, there's been a couple of DC animated movies where they've had him as the villain or whatever, and
he's a really good villain.
Yeah, it's an interesting character. So I mean, it's having him as the baddie in this new show that's coming out, The Heroes of Yesteryear or Tomorrow or whatever the hell.
Legends
it is
of Tomorrow.
There you go. I don't even remember the name. It's not going to be one that I watch. It's just
I'm actually going to have to take a look.
Are you? Yeah.
I thought everything that they've done so far to that point is interesting enough that I'm going to have to take a peek.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. But the shows continue to be good. Like they're kind of focusing more down on central characters in the show instead of having like the extended family, and they've kind of gotten away now the last couple of weeks for introducing Treat of the Week villains. Because for a little while there, Arrow was like every episode they were bringing in a new guy that was like, oh my god, he was like a really cool character in the comic, and now he's just like a 2-minute Arrow cushion.
Well, they still had Neil McDonough. Oh, what did we do to deserve Neil McDonough?
Yeah,
he's fantastic, and he was so good in that scene at the beginning of Flash.
And I mean, having him in there, he's actually lasted longer now than any other villain other than Deathstroke. Because they let Deathstroke, that story actually...
Oh, Deathstroke, Slade.
Yeah, Slade. They let him stay around for like an entire season in Arrow, whereas when they had Brick, it was like 3 episodes, and the guy was
it's unfortunate because they got such a great actor to play Brick, and Brick was such an important character in terms of his influence in which city was it now that he was from? I think it had a different name. I don't think it was Star City or Starling City.
No, he was from a different place, but
it doesn't matter. He's what a great villain, and they completely squandered him. Yeah, which is so unfortunate.
Which I don't know. I mean, it is sad. I mean, I really enjoy Arrow and these other shows because of the street level stuff, and he was like the ultimate street level guy because basically he was like the Luke Cage of the.
Yeah, he was just a little bit above them because he had the invulnerable skin or whatever.
But that's it. Like, and that he was.
But Damien Dark is on a level all to himself.
Yeah, and I mean I
love it too.
They so ham-fistedly bring magic into the show. Like, I mean, that was the only complaint that I had where I was like, oh come on.
I didn't mind the Constantine episode. No, it was way better than I thought it was going to be.
The Arrow episode was amazing, but the way that they actually dropped that they were going to be doing magic in, it was super cheesy. It's like, this is something that I've only seen once before, and it was more mystical. And they look.
He should have almost looked right at the camera. It was, and then had dun magic. Dun, dun.
Yeah. So and then the Flash was the same thing too, and they don't explain how the Flash even knows about any of this. It's like, yeah, I don't know, man. This guy was like different. And it was like, and that was the, the code word for magic.
Well, he's already picked up on alternate dimensions, a second Earth that's now has a portal open between it and our Earth. So,
but it was all science at that point. At this point, it's like, well, what? Now he's a fucking wizard? Flash is a wizard, apparently.
Well, is it so far-fetched anymore?
I'm a wizard.
Once your mind has been opened, all these things become possible, right?
Or I guess. I don't know. Like,
plus, Barry's a really nice guy.
Yeah, he's too nice to criticize. It's true.
They chose a great actor. They did.
But now that they've done that, of course, that opens the door for all the magic using characters. And I'm honestly hoping that
Doctor Strange.
No, he's not even from that.
I know. The other guy though.
Well, there's Dr. Fate.
Dr. Fate, yeah.
Who's they show gear from some of the other magical characters in the Constantine show, and I don't know if you had a chance to catch up with that, but I've actually finished watching the entire first season of that show, and there's all kinds of nods to the magic using community or whatever.
There's talk that Constantine's going to wind up on Legends of Tomorrow. They even have suggested, some places have suggested, that they might even have a little bit of a rotating cast. That some characters will move out and others will move in and back and forth as they shuffle over time and over the course of the show. And there's a very strong possibility Constantine's going to show up, which I think is great.
I just wish that they would have continued with his show because they did a lot of cool things. But I don't know. It's as long
as people weren't watching, what are you going to do?
But I mean, it does open a lot of doors, and I'm hoping that they go that route because for a lot of the superhero kind of the bigger superheroes in the DC universe, magic is really the only weakness. So I mean, having them in there at least gives you like a nice villain.
Yeah, because Supergirl's vulnerable, Superman is vulnerable.
Yeah, Superman is.
I watched Supergirl.
Vulnerable. Yeah, and what did you think?
It's all right. At this point, I still wouldn't say you're missing much if you didn't watch it. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't recommend it the same way I'd recommend, say, something like Flash.
Yeah,
but it's okay. Melissa Benoist knocks it out of the park. She's very good. And some of the other stuff, though, like some of the effects are a little bit bad. I mean, what are you going to do with a TV budget and a hero like Supergirl? And the Red Tornado popped up a week ago. Oh, he looked terrible. It was just an awful makeup, terrible costume. He didn't look like the android he was supposed to. It looked like the scientist that made him in a rubber suit.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. I guess in some ways it's fantastic.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I watched the first couple episodes and I really liked it. I just haven't gotten around to finishing it.
They revealed last night that Hank, the leader of the alien fighting faction, the black guy, Estes from Homeland. He's actually the Martian Manhunter.
Really?
Yeah.
And they've actually
they showed him last night. Yep.
Oh, that's amazing. See, I might have to watch it now because it's like one of my favorite characters.
A lot of people do like the Manhunter, and he revealed himself in like the form, the green guy, tall with the X red thing on front of his chest.
Really?
Like, it's him. They did a really good job.
Wow.
How do you pronounce his name? It's not John Jones, but is it
Jean
Jones or something?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, aren't you talking about the guy from that play, Jean Valjean?
Jean Valjean.
The Unfortunate Ones.
Do you hear the people singing the songs of angry Martians? Yeah, I don't know.
It's not him. But he did identify himself like that, like with the name that we know from the comics and everything. He never called himself Martian Manhunter, but we know who he is.
That's the English name or whatever that they give him. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I kind of have to see where they go with that. No, that's neat.
And of course, Maxwell Lord is there already.
Yeah.
He is a mind control type guy too, is he not? And in fact, an incredibly powerful one.
I think he's just a businessman actually, because he's head of Checkmate, isn't he? Or like it's kind of like the paramilitary mercenary organization or whatever that is in DC. But if that's what it is it Checkmate? I can't remember the name of the organization. But I know he's a criminal leader, but I don't like. I think he's more just really savvy and rich. So he's like the anti-Batman or whatever. But
just getting back to, of course, we were just talking about Supergirl there for a second, but I realized we also have to talk about what is going to happen with the remains from Vandal Savage.
Oh, well, obviously he's going to get reconstituted.
Yeah, because John Barrowman swept up his ashes into a bucket. And
then the last thing he says, "You owe me, my friend."
And the Lazarus pit has been poisoned over, so it's not like he's going to toss the ashes into it and resurrect him. So what's his plan?
He's going to have other.
He's going to bring him back somehow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because we all know that it's going to be the villain for the new series that's coming out. He's obviously going to get resurrected. He's not really dead, and they're just going to keep on moving into the show with him as a character or whatever. So probably bringing him back is going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back with
and more John Barrowman. So
nobody
loses.
Who's been reduced to being like the Newman character of Arrow, where he shows up and people are just
Oliver.
like, He just shows up. Hello.
Didn't we say that a couple of weeks ago, that he's basically the Arrow equivalent to Newman from Seinfeld?
Yeah, because he just shows up and nobody wants him there. He's like the leader of like the biggest assassination cartel in the world. Everybody just treats him like he's just like,
on your door.
Yeah, he's like the guy that borrows your shit and doesn't bring it back. He's like the guy that just shows up at your house and does that. And that's what he's kind of reduced to. Although in this one, it's funny because even like the Flash team is like, who the fuck is this guy? Like they don't. Why am I taking orders from this dildo? You know,
that was fantastic though. That they just lampshaded the shit out of that. I love it.
That was awesome. But anyways, so that's it for the DC stuff, I guess.
That is it.
So the other series, I guess, that's chugging along that is kind of captured our interest, at least for this season, is Walking Dead. So we've been told and shown now that Glenn is still alive.
Very much alive, which we thought all along.
Yeah, so we were correct, as usual, with our predictions. But that happened while we were on hiatus. And so, yeah, where's it at now? I'm about 2 or 3 episodes behind now in season 6.
What's happened since? I mean, we discovered that Glenn was alive. He made his way back as best as he could towards Alexandria. Did you see that it's got a swarm of zombies around it now?
Yeah, because of the dam breaking or whatever. Like
that's right. So
dam.
They can't get out. Nobody can get in. Glenn hasn't made a move to try to get inside yet at that point. But a tower that was outside of their wall crashed over through the wall, and the zombies filled the town, which is where we left off. It's a cliffhanger.
Oh wow!
That finished everything.
And that's the postseason break or whatever. The half-season break.
Yeah. Rick and a couple of members of his group, because everyone went to their respective homes and they're just trying to stay quiet and make the zombies go away, and then maybe you can get out and try to fight them and eliminate them after. They left it off with the same scene that they did in the comics, where Rick and the wife of the guy that he killed, their children, Michonne, showered themselves up in some zombie guts that they got from the first floor because they were forced to go up to the second floor of the home.
Yeah.
They put a couch in the way so that the zombies couldn't get up out the window, and they're trying to walk through the zombie crowd covered in guts with the kid that's absolutely terrified of them. And he was calling for mom.
Oh no!
While they were doing this, and cut the credits. So that's where we left off.
So that kid's gonna
a lot
get
of
eaten,
people,
is what you're saying?
a lot of people were disappointed.
Uh-huh.
But I don't think you can judge it just based on one half of what is very obviously like an 80-minute teleplay. So I want to see how it plays out when we come back from the break. The same thing happened in the comics, and the result isn't pretty.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, having read most of the comics up until like I guess last year, there was always just like they didn't really seem to have any other tricks other than just making the characters' lives miserable. And
I mean that's their currency. We know that,
and that's what you get. Yeah. But so I mean, if they're gonna go that way in the television show, I guess that's true to form at least.
You saw the Morgan-centric episode.
Yeah,
that was really good. They did a great job with that. It's stuff like that I love the most. These cool character bits.
And they take risks because I mean that was 90 minutes of that happening or whatever. So I mean that's really good. Fear the Walking Dead, the television kind of webisodes that they were coming out with or whatever.
Did they finish them yet?
They're close. The last time I checked, which was like 2 weeks ago, they were on episode 8. So there's actually about 10 minutes worth of footage you can watch now of the thing. So I don't know.
I want to watch all of it at once. Will it be done before 2015 is over?
I don't know. I think they're waiting until I don't even know when the second season of Fear the Walking Dead is supposed to start. But I don't think it's January. I think it's probably going to be next September.
Next season of Walking Dead?
No, of the Fear the Walking Dead.
Fear the Walking Dead will be next year.
Yeah. Because it's the first season, like the first season of the original Walking Dead series, is only 6 episodes. So I mean, they're basically shooting a 13 episode or whatever second season right now. So I mean, it's how that all turns out, I don't know. My hope had been, because they did kind of go in some different directions with this thing, that it would actually be a little bit different than the main show, or they'd actually have some kind of point. Because that's that's always been my thing. I've always wanted them to just at one point just say, okay, now we're going to tell a story, and not just be like ER where like kids get killed and then he becomes an alcoholic and then he dies. And that's like the arc. You invest that much time in just to see that happen, and you're like, oh god.
And this is the payoff.
Yeah, this is the payoff. I get to go to bed drunk again. But that's
so bad.
You'll find like for the past 3 episodes coming into this episode, mostly we've just been talking about shit that we actually like, and the whole point of Peak TV was to actually maybe inform you about things that you shouldn't check out, just in case you had some curiosity about stuff.
Christ.
Yeah. So this week, the show that I kind of want to bitch about is Heroes Reborn. So
you dove on that grenade?
I dove on the grenade. I watched the first couple episodes.
I was sold after the 3rd and 4th season to never come back.
I don't know. It didn't get get better. Like, and that's all right. So the premise is that this takes place like after the 4th season. So all of the things that they did that were incredibly dumb in seasons 3 and 4, when they didn't have an excuse of the writer's strike to make up for the fact that the shows were stupid, continues on into this series. So obviously Sylar is not in this. They do not have a Sylar character or whatever, at least as far as I could see for the first couple episodes. But Zachary Quinto is not engaged.
He's not coming anywhere near that.
So I mean, either they get another actor if they're going to bring him back, and I'm not putting it past them because it's terrible so far. But the I mean, it's basically like the only character that really is recognizable from the original show is the horn rim glasses
HRG.
man, like Claire's Claire's dad and
Noah.
They are not bringing back basically any of the other characters that we saw. Like even the Haitian wasn't in there. Like there's a ton of people that didn't make it. I think he did in the original sometime. I don't remember though.
Yeah.
I mean, like basically my experience with Heroes when it was originally a thing was the first season up until about the 6th episode was kind of really good. Like
the first season overall was really good.
It was okay up to the point where they figured that they couldn't kill Sylar even though a million of them
that was
could
the mistake.
every single time. Like because I mean basically as soon as you introduce a character that can stop time, everybody gets to die if that character wants them dead. And you know, and it was like that with all like, and then you have the other hero, Emo Petrelli there, the
yes, Emo Petrelli,
the sensitive empath that absorbs everybody's powers.
He was on Gotham too. Jesus Christ,
Emo Petrelli's the best. The best thing that he was in was that Adam Sandler movie as he played the dancer brother of the bride.
That sounds fucking terrible.
It was awful, but it was funny too. But anyways, you have heroes like that have these like huge powers that could basically make everybody else into chumps.
They can mold reality practically.
And then they don't, oh my god, we can't kill Sylar, no one can kill him, what do we do? So anyways, I kind of lost interest after that, the half of the first season, and second season happened, and that was right in the middle of the writer's strike, so it was a condensed season. Interesting storyline, because they actually send Hero back in time, and then they have the whole feudal Japan, and then the effects of that or whatever. There were parts of it that were interesting, but then
sort of
having the parents all know each other.
Robert Forster showed up. That's what was important.
Yeah, having the heroes' parents know each other, that was kind of cool. But where it led was just like meh. And then the 3rd season was just madness, and the 4th season was even more madness. It was just the most ridiculous show. I mean,
there's no stakes.
No, if you have Netflix, you should watch it just to punish yourself if you've been bad. If you feel guilty about something, watch the show. Otherwise, just leave it alone. And I will say that again for Heroes Reborn. They have no new ideas. It's must be some of the same writers.
Tim Kring is still involved.
I don't know how you fuck up superheroes this far in the game, like having so many templates to borrow. Like they literally could copy any superhero show that's on television right now, even a little bit, and they would be 100% better than what they were putting together now. So I don't know who let them have.
Yeah, like Agents is knocking it out of the park.
Yeah, Agents is knocking it out of the park. Like all these
Flash,
shows,
Arrow's improved over its 3rd season.
Everything is better than Heroes Reborn.
Yeah.
And this is a show where theoretically
Heroes are Reborn.
Yeah, well, the studio owns it. Like it's not a Marvel property, it's not a DC property. It's something that they have complete control of. They can do whatever they want with. They can make it as good as they want and reap all the rewards. They're not paying royalties to any of these fucking companies.
They just fuck it up.
They fucked it up. It is complete fuck up, a complete washout. Don't even bother.
Is it even going to get re-signed at this point?
Probably I don't think so. I hope not. If they do, then they're just like, hey, we got a superhero show too.
There's 4 other shows to watch if you want to watch superheroics, and Heroes is just not one of them.
No, stay the far.
Don't watch Gotham either.
Yeah, yeah. I think we got that warning a couple of shows ago when we were making fun of it. But yeah, Gotham got really bizarre too.
It's not.
It's not good. It's not good.
By
the time Bruce Wayne grows up in Gotham, all the villains are going to be 60 years old.
That's how he'll beat them.
That's how he'll beat them. Basically, all the supervillains will be elderly citizens.
He'll just be in good shape.
Yeah, and he'll just be like a normal young guy that's just like, you know what, I'm going to push you down, sit down the stairs, old man. What are you going to do?
Flip you out of your wheelchair.
That's amazing.
I would actually watch that show. That would be fantastic.
And then Bruce Wayne gets arrested for being cruel to seniors.
But he gets off because he's rich.
Yeah, he gets off because he's rich, and that's the end of the
story. Superpower.
It's just Finn at
is
the end.
avoiding litigation.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I mean, if that can happen in Gotham, I think that would be very good.
You know what's funny, Captain Hero?
Elder abuse?
Well, yes, elder abuse.
All right, so that's our show for this week. That's our show for this week.
Whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not, we're done. Fuck this fucking day. We
open invitation.
Yeah, we have an open invitation. Anybody who wants to come on the show, we will have you as a guest as long as you're some form of nerd. I don't care what you're nerdy about.
If you want to promote something, you want to watch a movie and talk with us about it, like we did with The Martian a few weeks ago.
Come on the show. We're here. Send us an email at mikeandrobshow@gmail.com or come visit us at our Facebook page. So it's Facebook/Mike and Rob Show. Something. I don't know, .com.net/EU. And then Merry Christmas to everybody, of course.
Christmas,
have a great holiday.
And joyous Kwanzaa and
whatever
happy
you
Hanukkah.
celebrate it hard.
With liquor.
We'll be back maybe one time before Christmas, but if not, then after
maybe
Christmas
one time
sometime.
after Christmas.
Yeah, definitely
if
one time
our
after
author
Christmas.
friend will show up and decide to do a show with us to promote her book.
Yeah, so the author we mentioned, our local
please
hero,
come on our show.
Please come on the show, please. We want to have her on to talk about the whole process of writing this book and getting it out there, because it literally is one of the hardest things to do these days.
I'm going to have to read it if we have her on.
Oh, yeah, I'm writing it right now. As soon as I go,
right.
I'm going to go to the website and take a copy for
I'll get
sure.
my wife to read it and she can tell me about it.
Look, just because it's not a poker book doesn't mean you have to not
That's
read
exactly what it means, in fact.
Anyways, yes, we're going to buy your book, and I'm going to read it, and please come on the show so we can talk to you about it. Anybody else, yeah, again, give us an email, and we'll see you when we see you. Talk to you later.
Merry Christmas.
Ah!
I'll clear the area.
No, I don't care. You can sit
No, I'm going to clear the area.
You can yell, too.
I'm going to clear the area.
Yell in. Right. Mike, you're lying.
You're so fucking full of shit.
Yes, please do this.
Don't buy shit. Hey, look at all the shit I bought.
That's it. That's me.
What do I have to say?
Man, make it up, man. Fucking ad lib. It's the internet. You can do whatever you want. You're free as a bird.
This is my fucking show now. We need Zoe. Fly her in.
From England, we'll just webcam her in.
That's right.